Cusco City and Sacred Valley are both widely known as the gateway to the famous 15th century Inca citadel known as Mount Picchu. In this video, I'm going to be showing you why it's worth staying in Sacred Valley in Cusco City, including visiting some of the famous archaeological sites such as the last stand of the Incas. Being animal lovers, our first stop in Cusco was an alpaca farm. The farm we visited was called Ollantaytambo, and we saw alpacas, llamas, and even a huge condor, which was a sacred bird to the Incas. While you're there, don't forget to take some photos. Now, if you're going to buy an alpaca sweater, I would recommend purchasing one in one of the local markets instead of here if you want to save a bit of money. If you're staying in Cusco, don't worry, you have many unique and affordable accommodation options. We actually ended up staying at an old colonial house turned hotel called Inkaterra Hacienda. As you can see, the hotel room has everything you need to unwind and relax, including a king-size bed, fireplace, and an amazing bathroom with soaker tub and separate marble shower. Oh, and the place had an incredible view from the balcony window, including views of old colonial buildings and a church.
So we're just like walking to the main square in Cusco, and there is a huge jam because of the soccer game. So if they win today, they qualify for the World Cup. So it's pretty incredible, actually.
This was so funny. So apparently in Peru, the president actually gave everyone the day off to watch the big soccer game, so we quickly left to watch the game, but unfortunately the Peru team lost in a shootout and didn't qualify for the World Cup. However, after that, we made our way to the next big attraction, which was the San Pedro market.
You're also here in San Pedro market. It's like there's thousands of vendors. And if you're looking at getting some trinkets for back home, like this is the spot. They got sweaters. It's much more affordable than your typical tourist traps, so definitely you should hit up San Pedro Market in Cusco.
Another must-do in Cusco is visiting one of the many museums and of course the famous Cusco Cathedral, which is now a World UNESCO site. In the evening, we grabbed some takeout in the main plaza and enjoyed some of the nightlife before heading to the Sacred Valley. With its breathtaking landscapes, the Sacred Valley is located in Peru's Andean highlands and formed the heart of the Inca Empire, stretching roughly 60 kilometers. It was called the Sacred Valley because it contained some of the best land in the region and was actually property of the Inca king himself. If you're staying in the Sacred Valley, you have to visit the salt mines of Miras. The salt mines are over 500 years old and there are approximately 4,500 salt whales. It's even said that the mineral content of the salt rivals that of the Himalayas. While we were there, we had an opportunity to see locals mining the salt using original pre-Inca and even Inca techniques. Before you go, make sure to take some photos of the natural beauty. After a short drive from the salt mines, you'll find yourself in the archaeological site of Moray. The site is composed of 3 groups of circular terraces, and since the Incas had no written language, no one actually knows what they were used for, but one of the popular theories, and my favorite, is that it was used as an experimental farm by the Incas. As you can see, make sure to take some awesome photos because the backdrops almost look fake. Now, there are plenty of affordable and luxury accommodation options in the Sacred Valley, but one of the most unique accommodations that you probably research is the SkyLodge. Full disclosure, to sleep at this place, you must climb 400 meters to the hotel. We actually ended up staying at the Inkaterra Hacienda Urubamba, built in the heart of the Urubamba Valley surrounded by the Andes Mountains. You can't go wrong staying here. Almost all rooms are standalone luxury casitas featuring breathtaking views of the valley. The food served also includes many local ingredients harvested by the property's organic farm, and we ate really well. It's also one of the best places in Peru to stargaze and observe the Milky Way if you're lucky. Now, if you're staying a few nights in the Sacred Valley, you have to visit the town of Chinchero. It's a village that is home to the famous Peruvian weaving. While we were there, we had an opportunity to see a weaving demonstration and even picked up a few items of clothing for our family back home. Now if you're lucky, the weavers might also decide to even sing you a little song. Your final stop in Sacred Valley will undoubtedly be the Pisac Ruins and town of Ollantaytambo. The town is primarily built for tourists with loads of bars, restaurants, and hostels, and is directly adjacent to one of the most famous Inca archaeological sites in Peru known as the Pisac Ruins. Major sites within the complex include the huge Sun Temple and the Princess Baths fountains. I'm not convinced ancient aliens built these ruins, but the walls are built so precisely that you can't even fit a piece of paper between them. Overall, staying in Cusco in the Sacred Valley was one of the highlights of our trip to Peru. In my opinion, you can probably spend at least 3 to 4 days staying in either Cusco City and Sacred Valley before heading on the train to Machu Picchu, which is exactly what we did next. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to our new channel. We will be posting regular travel videos of our adventures around the world and throughout Canada.